Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ramblr feature videos. If you haven't seen any of our videos before, my name is Drago, and I'm one of the AI leads here at Ramblr. And in these videos, we like to show you all the features that our platform has, including all the new features that come in, and also sometimes some mini tutorials on how to use them and where to find things. On today's video, we're going to talk about the annotation of attributes, relations, and activities in our videos. So as you know, if we go into our test project here, Ramblr is very strong in terms of providing time-consistent masks with objects and their categories across videos of varying lengths. For example, again, just gonna go through some of these previous, right? And you have masks that are there throughout, in various domains and such. But this is only the first level of annotation, right? Aside from caring where things are and what they are, you also care about what the properties of these objects are, right? You also care about how these objects relate to each other, so which object is on where or being held by, etc. And finally, which activities are happening in the video. So what are the people, robots, or agents in general doing in a particular video, and where in time, right? And while we have a stack of models that help us predict all of these different features, we also have the possibility, of course, of annotating them within our tool, right? So that, of course, you can provide data to train these models, so that we can customize them for you, for example, right? Now, to do this, we're going to look into this very shortly pre-annotated video I have. But importantly, before we jump in, note that I set in the project, here in settings, this vocabulary. Why does this matter? Because when I'm annotating, be it objects, which we're not going to annotate today, or activities, right? If I'm in an industrial setting, for example, a chemical company, right? I don't necessarily care about, dogs or hot pots or anything like that, right? I care about pipes, I care about flanges, I care about tools, right? And I care about procedures that are being performed that are specific to my particular field or my particular plant, rather than the general set of, making eggs, for example, right? And this is why you can customize vocabularies in our tool so that the focus falls in these objects and in these activities, right? So if we go to our vocabulary tab here in the workspace, and we look at this test vocabulary 2, here, you'll see that I define categories: book, cloth, laptop, left hand and right hand, and activities: clean cupboard and grab book, right? And why? Well, coincidentally, I'm going to look at a video where someone is cleaning cupboards and moving books, okay? So let's jump right in. Okay, so here's our video. As mentioned, this is the person is just cleaning the cupboard, moving the books around, and I annotated this very short segment shown here by the timelines with the masks. You can see the objects down here, right? And now what I want to do is annotate attributes of some of these objects. So we're going to go here, and I'm going to select the book, right? So we'll just pick the book there. You can see that it shows in our inspector here. It tells me the properties of the book. It shows me the color of the mask, the object ID of the book, and then the attributes and relations associated with the book, which in this case are none. So let's add some. So we're adding an attribute here. We're going to choose a type. We're just going to go for color. Of course, these are customizable. The mask is gray, but if we remove the mask, we can see the book is brown. So we're just going to go with brown, right? Notice here, I can just by default select that this attribute is assigned to the object through all annotated frames, right? But for example, if I have attributes like open or close, right, for a book, you might imagine this can change during the course of the video, and then you will want to annotate this separately in different frame ranges, right? But in this case, we're all good. It's just the book, the color brown, and I accept, and see the attribute shows up here. So I can still edit it, of course, and it tells me it's in all frames as opposed to arrange, right? Aside from attributes, as mentioned, you can also annotate relations between objects, right? So here we're going to do a relation. We're going to say it's a position relation. We're going to say it's on, and the target object, we can see it's the left hand. Same idea, you can also define frame ranges or just leave it as that. And here we're going to add the relation. Now you'll see in the timeline, this dotted line indicates which objects have attributes or relations annotated, right? So we can look at the book here, and it shows me it has one attribute, one relation. The attribute, as we saw, is the color brown. Their relation, we can see it says it's direct, because this is the source of a relation. It's on the left hand. We also see that the left hand also has a dotted line in its timeline. If we look at the left hand, it has one relation. It is indirect though, because the left hand is the target of the relation as we defined it, right? So we keep the directionality, which is important depending on what type of analysis you want to do, right? Okay, so we know how to annotate attributes. We know how to annotate relations. The last thing we talked about was activities. So activities, again, happen generally in a span of time. So here we're just going to annotate, we're going to grab a frame range here. And we're going to go here to add activities, and you just click on the plus sign. See, it shows up in our inspector. And here is where the vocabulary kicks in, right? Even if we're not annotating objects themselves, well, we also have our predefined activities, right? So you don't have to type or anything. You have the activities that you predefined for your process of interest, right? In this case, we're just going to go for grab book. Okay, you can write a description if you want. Of course, if you encounter new activities, you can also add them, right? But in this case, of course, it's much easier when you have this pull-down menu. You can define your frame range and click Save. And there we go. Shows the frame range down here. It shows us in the timeline, so let's get rid of a selection there. It shows in the timeline what the activity is and the description if there's one, right? And you can see how here we can annotate very quickly activities and attributes just because they exist in, frame ranges and such, right? Now, there's one more thing I wanted to show you, so keeping this in mind. So now if we go to the viewer function in our tool, so here in the little dots, and we say view, you will see, okay, so there's our objects, our activities timeline, right? Here's our activity, grab book. Immediately calls up the inspector, right? And as we saw before, we're going to hide this panel for now. Still shows us the attributes and relations, as you can see here. But again, remember, aside from being able to display the video, we also have an alternative way of displaying information, especially if we have attributes and relations, and that is the scene graph, right? Which is just a graph where every object is represented by a node, and then every edge is a relation. And as we annotated, the book is on the left hand, right? And if I click on a node, for example, the book, I can see all the attributes associated with that book. And this is how you can really compress the information contained in the scene, all the relevant aspects of it, into this very simple view. And not only that, this is also a data structure that, of course, you can use later for analysis of what is happening in your videos. And again, with a vocabulary that's tailored for your application. And with that, we have reached the end of our video today. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please let us know if you have any questions, any thoughts, ideas, etc. And yeah, hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye, and thanks so much.